First off, I'm Naomi. This is my channel, Bell Stitches Pirates, where I focus primarily on cross stitching, but occasionally bring in odds and ends like diamond painting or sewing or crochet. Although to date, you haven't seen crochet, but I bought yarn for a blanket. So that's on the list of things to get started. If you've been here a while, thank you for coming back. As you know, back in May, we had our house broken into and some things stolen, and including my iPad where I do all of my video editing, and it was a rough end to a month that was already difficult. But we have been through the claim process with the insurance and got replacement iPads and the case, and I've got it all set up. And I was very fortunate in that my iPad had done a full backup within a day or two of when the break-in happened. And so I was able to download the backup, and probably 99% of what I had done was on there. So I didn't lose a lot of stuff that I only ever have on my iPad, but not on my phone. My phone is a smaller memory size than my iPad, so there are some things, some programs and things that don't work on the phone. They're only made for an iPad, but also items that I intentionally have only stored to my iPad. So I was happy to discover that some of the things I thought might be lost were not. It is July 14th. Since I last saw you, I have received the Black Needle Society Frogwarts Year 3 box. I have opened it. I thought about doing an unboxing, but at the time I still didn't have the replacement iPad, and I just wasn't sure how well things were gonna go trying to edit from my phone or anything like that. So I didn't. Plus my husband was home and he was curious what was in this box. And he is very much a kid in a candy store personality when there is a mysterious package. Doesn't matter that it's not for him. He has to know what you got. It makes surprising him with gifts really difficult. But I told him that Frogwarts was this weekend, and it actually started last night. And that there was a box coming with stuff. So at the very end, I will give a spoilers warning. If you don't want to see some of the things that were in the box, just turn it off and keep yourself safe. I've really only worked on one piece, but I did work a little bit on another piece before I got started on my focus piece. So if you watched the last video, my plans were to work on a little bit on my chatelaine, and this is Polar Beauty Mandala. And I'm doing the center block 1/1 on 32 count. I got a good chunk in, so it was kind of like here. I'll grab the picture from the before, but there was a lot that was missing. I am really enjoying having the blown up patterns. I took the pattern and I blew up each quarter of this piece to fit on an 11 by 17 piece of paper. So this dimension was 11, and it meant that there was margin, a bunch of margin, but I made it fit the 11 by 17, so it was as big as it could go. And it's made the symbols really clear and easy to follow, so it's much easier for me to actually sit there and figure out where I'm going. It's also easier to keep count. But I was struggling before my iPad got taken, and one of the things that I was doing was I had the PDF blown up in GoodNotes, and then I had it in MarkRx, and I was marking off as I went, but I was still having some issues because I was having to look at a really blurry picture on MarkRx and the clear symbols but still pretty tiny on GoodNotes, and it wasn't a comfortable stitch. And I was seriously debating ripping out or just scrapping this piece of fabric and eventually, you know, cutting out, because it's centered, cutting out the middle and, you know, cutting it down into multiple pieces of fabric, and then just saying, you know what, let's restart and do it over 2. But I really wanted to do the over 1. I like the extra little detail that it's got, and so I got 500 or 600 stitches put into this on basically one day, which was nice. It was nice to feel like I was starting to make progress, and my plan for July is, after my next project's done, to go through and focus on that one for the rest of the month, or most of the month, and get some stuff going. This is the other project that I have been on this month. In Frogwarts, they had a challenge that if you started on July 3rd and you had to put a code word on your first picture, which, since you didn't get the code word until July 3rd when you could start it, meant, you know, was how you proved that you had not started it. You had it on your empty fabric. So the goal is to finish this weekend to get the bonus points in the retreat for finishing it in 2 weeks. And so far, I have finished, let's get this up. So I'm at about 62%, according to Pattern Keeper. Pattern Keeper does not have a good count. There's some words that go under here that are over 1, which will be interesting. I have not done over 1 on 36 count, which is what this is. But I still have a little bit of work in the bust. It was starting to feel like the bust was sluggish. taking too long, because, you know, I'd have like 2 or 3 stitches here and then 2 or 3 stitches here, and then, you know, and then down the side. And while it's filling in nicely, it was becoming tedious. So I moved the frame and came over here. And at that point I had done Aunt Marge, and I had done the monster book and the page. I still have to do the back stitch. There's some numbers on here. I have to do the back stitch. And I had done like a couple of letters in Ridiculous when I started the bus. I think so. This light color on the bus is the same as Ridiculous. So I had like done the bus that light color, and then I had a long string left over, so I started Ridiculous. And then I worked on the purples in the bus, and then I got bored with the bus, so I started the diamonds through here. I still have a second color to do on the diamonds, the diamond pattern, but I'm working my way across. So I finished Ridiculous, then I moved the frame and came in. I can't remember when I moved the frame. I might have also had the werewolf, had Mooney done, but I did the time turner, and then I did the Dementor, kept coming across with this. This is the Patronus, and that's gonna say Expecto Patronum. So Expecto is finished, Patronum is started. Then there's a couple more little things, and it's almost to the far end. I think I might have to move the frame just a smidge to be able to fit the rest, the tail end here into the design. And then I'm going to need to take a look at it. I may have to do one more diamond repeat, because my plan is to do this as either a block, a mattress, or a drum, either round or square finish, with this being the side, and then, you know, Hogwarts themed fabric. I'll probably do the quote on here is, I forget the one half of it, but the other half says mischief managed. So I'm thinking that my top and or my bottom will be the Marauders map fabric. And then I'm also thinking that I will put in the foundation of the top and the bottom, in one side put a magnet in the center, and in the other put like a washer, so that I can, as I go, you know, when I go back and do years 2 and years 1, which I have the patterns for now, I can, you know, stack them as a tower. But then on year 4 through 7, should I get those, I can add them to the tower too, but also they will work as individual pieces if I decide to like spread them out. Because this border goes all the way across, I want the border to match up when I sew the connecting line. So I may need to do, you know, some filler work once I get it completely stitched into place. But that's what I have focused all of my attention on 4th of July, I busted out a bunch. Last Sunday, I think I put in like 8 hours or something, did like 1,200 stitches. It's a reasonably quick stitch. I've already completed 2 whole colors on this thing. And I have a few other colors that are borderline ready to go. I have made some tweaks. So they gave 2 options for, they basically gave you the option with the white, which does really well on this dark fabric, but for people doing a neutral, you had the option of either more of a white over dye or more of an ecru over dye, or I think 712 was the corresponding DMC conversion. And so number one, what I've done is go a little light effects insane, or light effects blind, if you will. So I put light effects in for all the white, the mirrors and the lights and the sign on the bus. And that's straight light effects. And then on the book, I did 1 strand of the over-dyed snowball and 1 strand of the it's E 5200 light effects. Just to give it just a smidgen of sparkle on the teeth. And then for the book page, because I wanted it more of an aged book page, like it's been around for a while. I decided to do that as the eggshell over dyed. The time turner, I more or less used the called fors, with the exception of pumpkin pie I couldn't get. It was out of stock, so I have a substitute. And then I flip-flopped to the 2 browner shades, which is fine. And then I did the grayish overdyed. I substituted in a light effects that looks metallic-y for the arrow. That was really the only change I made to the time turner. For this one, I didn't have the called for red color. I think it's called Current. So I substituted in Bing Cherry, which I think has a little bit more modeling. Expecto Patronum is the called for, but then on the Patronus, all the white I'm doing in light effects, 100% light effects, not even blending it with the snowball. I honestly contemplated, and I did the same thing for the Moon and Mooney's teeth. I honestly contemplated doing the Moon and the Patronus outlines in glow in the dark. But that would have meant going to the store to see if they have it. So I decided, well, the light effects, the sparkle effect will work. So that's what I have been devoting all my time to. I had a little bit of haul sorry, I just kicked the table. Aside from the Black Needle Society box, I had some haul. I had pre-ordered Emma Congden's latest cross-stitch book, and it came on my birthday. It was originally slated to be released some other time, and then the release date got moved up and it came on my birthday. So it has 20 designs, and they're really cute. They all of them are quotes related to family and heart. This one says, "Be brave, my heart, have courage, my soul." Life is the flower for which love is the honey. This one's like love in every language, or at least a good chunk of them. There's another one that's like postage stamps and various spellings for, or various words for love, phrases for love. And that one you could honestly pick out some of, you know, say you had some little, you wanted to do a little thing, like maybe a card. You could pull out, say this piece, the little ticket, just stitch the ticket and put it on a Valentine's card. I love you for all that you are and all that you have been, all you are yet to be. I really like this one. You are my sun, my moon, and all of my stars. E.E. Cummings. This one's also really cool. A really cool quote. Family are the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, who would do anything to see you smile, and who love you no matter what. That's true. That's why some people have family that chooses to be family, and others, you know, their biological family actually behaves like they like each other. Together is my favorite place to be. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Your greatness is not what you have, but what you give. I really like this one. Be the reason someone smiles today. The stack of animals is just makes me smile. We rise by lifting others. R. Ingersoll. And just clever how she has smaller animals stacked on top of the bigger animals. And this one is another one that you could pull pieces out of and put onto cards. And it's daily acts of kindness, and there's all kinds of simple things that don't even usually cost anything, just a little bit of time, not even meant much time. But you know, that little reminder that it doesn't take much to be nice, you know, to cheer up somebody. Let's root for each other and watch each other grow. This one's cute. Take care of each other. These are both very simple but very poignant. This has a little bit more to it, but still Good reminder. Love yourself first and everything else falls into place. This one is geared towards equality and inclusion. This one may have to be done sooner rather than later. I saw it and it reminded me of my grandmother. Perhaps they are not stars, but rather openings in heaven where the love of our lost ones pours through and shines down upon us to let us know they are happy. And then the Queen of Hearts. Follow your heart, it knows the way. So, if you wondered what was in the new Emma Congden book, that's what's in it. And it will probably be on my 2023 list of things to do. So this is where I say goodbye if you do not want to see the Frogwarts Year 3 treasure trove. If you do, then stick around. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you all have a very good couple of weeks. Not sure that I'll film next week, but definitely in a couple more weeks I'll film towards the end of the month. And with that, here's what was in the Black Needle Society Frogwarts Year 3 retreat box. So we have Project Bag, Azkaban Prison. And because, you know, trash has to go out, so, you know, can't just box it back up. That doesn't work for my husband. So I utilized it as a item holder. So we have a tray for honeydukes. My apologies. Somebody came to my front door. This is the result of a robbery happening. Your husband puts cameras up and a doorbell that has a video and rings. Time turner scissor fob. And it's got some heft to it. A Mooney sticker. Believe me, I've looked worse. I'll have to insert that piece at the end. The needle minder you already got a peek at, and it's personalized with a chosen nickname. The Book of Monsters notebook. Night bus ticket thread minder for 6 colors. Printed copy of the pattern. Fire Whiskey color and cotton floss. Kiwi. pumpkin juice, aubergine, and strawberry. And that came in an Every Flavors Floss box. And then, what else do we have? That was the stuff I had in there. We also got a jar of butterbeer mix. Apparently you heat it up with some milk, or you heat some milk up and then you stir this into it for a frothy drink. Milk's not something I tend to keep on hand, and I prefer oat milk, so I'm gonna have to go pick up some milk to put that for the weekend. And then, aside from the one I'm gonna insert in at the tail end, the one that had me practically jumping up and down was this gigantic wizarding themed tote bag. And I say gigantic, it's big enough to hold my 17-inch laptop, which I find a lot of bags struggle with. It's got a zipper, it's got this, like, it's nicely made. It's got interior pockets. It's got exterior pockets galore. It's got these D-rings on the end. Trying to see, I haven't explored it enough to see if there was like a, I don't think there's like a shoulder strap, but you could easily steal a shoulder strap from something else and carry it that way. The pocket on the back actually zips up. So it's got a big pocket on one side. It's got 6 smaller pockets. They're hard to see, but 6 smaller pockets on this side to stick stuff in. And it's still big enough that you could get just fit a half size pattern. So if your pattern folded up as like regular sheet of paper 8.5 by 11, and you folded it in half, the pockets are wide enough you could tuck it in. So they're like 6-inch pockets. So yeah, that tickled me no end. I've been having myself the dilemma of these darling robbers decided that they didn't want my travel pillow. They didn't want any of my items that were always packed in the suitcase, but they took my little 15-inch under the seat carry-on, probably because it has wheels, after dumping everything in and out. But this specific carry-on expands. It has a second little compartment that you can zip flat, or you can expand it, and you end up with probably about yay so big. It's big enough that my neck pillow I can stuff in there. So when I would pack for trips where I didn't need like more than a few days worth of stuff, I would take that. because I could pack it compact at the 15-inch size, and then if I bought some stuff, I could expand it to the 22-inch size, excuse me, and still only have one bag. Great, marvelous thing. I cannot find that style bag to save my life. I found a couple of things on Amazon, or I even found it on Walmart.com. It's completely out of stock. So, you know, we've been talking about maybe going on a trip. We went on a trip right after the break-in, just for a couple of days. And that was the hardest part, was what do I pack in? I don't want to take a big giant suitcase, not even a 22-incher. I'm used to packing small for a few days. And then this came in the box, and I immediately was like, yep, that works. I can use that as my overnight travel bag. It will hold things perfectly. So I am going to wrap this up. I'm going to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. And enjoy the final piece of the Black Needle Society box, Frogwarts box, in this clip. Bye. So this was the last item that was in the box, and my husband loves lights, which I will show you in a quick minute, although they're not turned on yet. The only downside is he has not yet hooked this into his timer, so he has all his lighting decorations on these timers that automatically turn on. And so when I plugged this in and to see what it did, he was just like, oh, I've got the perfect place for that. It needs to come over here and sit with all the other lights. But it has a bunch of different settings. Obviously the light changing one is the one that we like the most, but I'm going to push it back. So this lights up, and we put our Expecto Patronum next to it. And then he did a whole bunch of these little lamps, and since the fireplace isn't really something that we're keen on making work, these have electric candles in them, and so the timer comes on, and at night the fireplace is glowing. So he's got he's got the Beauty and the Beast one he made for me, and the blank door, I know the third one. Oh yeah, so then he's got the motif there. And then this one, I think is the Haunted Mansion inspired. Or just Disney in general. He really loves Disney. He loves pirates. And his two favorite rides at Disneyland are Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. Oh, this one he did all four sides. He got the Tiki Man. He did the Pirates Haunted Mansion style one. And then he put the castle on the back. And then at night, I need to dust those. But at night, all 4 of them light up. And the lights around, so he's got Christmas lights around the fireplace, those light up. And so yeah, needless to say, he was super duper excited to see this, and it had to go with the lighting collection. And I will try to remember to do a video when everything's lit up, because it's really cool. So anyway, that was the final item from the Black Needle Society box.